Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gamble with SimplerOptions.com, and in today's free video I wanted to take a look at two extremely different tickers. The first of which is in Facebook, and one that kind of stood out to me today because it was very strong inside a rather choppy market. So this is the type of stuff that I like to look for to say, okay, if we wake up and the S&Ps are strong, I mean, me just as much as anybody is looking for this thing to roll over, but when everybody starts getting on one side of that, I think you have to have some bullish ideas in the back of your mind at the very least, and I love the way that this has recovered its key daily moving averages. You've also cleared the 618 of this major swing, which should open up the door for a little bit more upside, and also if you drill down into some of your smaller time frame charts, you're seeing some squeezes that are starting to develop. So depending on how the market's open, and of course it may not all happen on Friday, but I like the idea of these squeezes maybe consolidating, maybe they take off a little quicker, but it's just the idea of taking them into these overhead voodoo lines. So in the case of Facebook, that would take you into about 95.88, and that is going to be one that I'm keeping on my radar for bullish opportunities, and that's a little bit more short term. Maybe over the course of, it's a day trade for some, maybe some people will like to take it into next week, but I wouldn't want to hold it for too long, and I really would take profits at 95. The other ticker I wanted to look at was Ulta. What's interesting about Ulta is it too has kind of come up here working to recover all of its primary moving averages, but what I really like about Ulta, and this would be a much longer term trade, is coming here off the weekly chart. Now admittedly, if the markets really get rough, then I wouldn't want to have a whole lot of bullish exposure in this, but what's interesting to me about this in Ulta is the way it's still pretty much holding weekly symmetry, because you might say, well, after this extremely rough move down, why would you want to come in and buy something like that? I look to it, and I love being able to hide my studies and think or swim like this, and just look at clean price action, and symmetry is just saying, okay, back here kind of towards the end of 2013, you saw a very substantial decline in this one as well. If you take that same swing and run it from the all-time high, you'll notice that gives you a level here at 124.40. Now it's not perfect, admittedly. The low was actually 120.38, but what I like to think about is that this is a little bit more of the art than the science of this, and if this stock can correct a given number of points and then go on to double in value, what's to say that the a very symmetrical or similar pullback doesn't provide a similar move higher? So I like the idea of playing that one kind of very conservative position size in case the markets do start to roll over, but if we recover a bit, I think Ulta could do very well inside that. So I hope that gives you guys a couple of ideas to focus on as we get into the Fed meeting next week. I also wanted to make sure you are aware of the class that John is going to be offering. The first part of it will be on September 19th, where he teaches the strategies that he will then be applying on the 22nd, 24th, and 25th in a live trading environment. This is one of the places that I learned the most from John, is being able to see this stuff, because you read it, you understand it, but seeing it applied in a live market is a completely different thing. So wanted to make sure you are aware of that. And then also kind of separately, but you can get them all together, we're also doing a seminar in Vegas in November. So if you're interested in that, it's always a good time, a very educational thing to have that many traders in a single location, and I think you guys may find it helpful. So hope that helps. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you at the next free video.